booties for black girl nerds.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, I am awesome. Super grateful to be talking to you. I was like, I was on the website for the blog and everything for a while, just like reading everything. So I was like super excited. So.
Well, I'm so glad to be talking to you. The first question I gotta ask, because Tyler Perry been trendy lately, because now people looking at him like Zaddy. You know what I'm saying? What did you think when you saw that? I was not expecting it. When did Tyler Perry become Zaddy?
Right. I know. And it's insane because too, like at the People's Choice Awards, he was like given like the Champions Award too. And he presented an award at like, it was either the Academy or at the Emmys, I forget. And I'm just like,
oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, 2020 is the year, like apparently too. But with everything, like it makes sense, you know what I mean? But from working with him, he just seemed humbled by everything. So that was like really good to see. And it's funny because he kind of is like all of our dads in a way. Like there was a night where we didn't get in trouble, but we were being a little too rowdy at certain points at some nights. And he like called just like a huge meeting, like, hundreds, like, there's 300 or something of us. And he's just like on the speakerphone and he's just telling it like it is. And I'm like, wow, he's like actually all of our fathers right now, so.
Have you worked, because I know I saw on different articles, I know they was recording shows on his lot during the pandemic, and it was like a lot of strict restrictions with COVID tests and stuff like that. So were you filming your new season during the COVID pandemic and everything like that going on?
Yeah, actually, I think he shot all 4 of his shows, I think, this past summer, and Ruthless was the second to last one, with Bruh being the last one, I think. And we were in the bubble, like we got there and we quarantined by ourselves in our room for a full 24 hours, and then we got moved into our homes, and we were just in this bubble, living on this lot with everyone else. So everyone is just our actor, or is just our neighbors, which turned out to be really awesome because we created this bond with the cast that really is unbreakable. And I don't think, none of us think, in my opinion, that we would have been able to get as close as we did, as fast as we did, because we were in such close quarters for so long. And also with the series regulars like myself and a couple other of us added on to season 1, it was also an interesting dynamic because the main cast had already been there, right? They had already shot the first part of season 1, but Mr. Perry had like an epiphany and rewrote the entire second half of the first season. And so that's how Zane was born. I'm grateful, and how a couple of the other characters were born as well. So also pre going into the bubble during like this quarantine, he just, I guess, just wrote even more. And then we go into this bubble, and yeah, it was incredible. It was an insane experience, but getting tested every 2 days and always wearing your mask or your shield and distancing, and yeah, it was a lot, but we stayed safe. We had zero cases for hundreds of us being there, doing something right.
How have you been adapting during this whole pandemic? I know stuff now is not as strict as it was at first. Because at first, I think 2020 has just been the year of surprises. You never know. You never know what's gonna happen. That's why, like, my friends trying to plan birthday stuff. I'm like, girl, it's too far in advance. The way this year is, I don't know where I'm gonna be in life. I don't know where the world gonna be at. I don't know. So, how have you been adapting during this 2020? It's been crazy.
Right. Oh my gosh. I feel that same way. That's so funny too, because I texted my friend and I was like, yo, come through for my birthday. And we're both like, you know what am I talking about? We don't know where we're going to be at in 3 months. Like, I don't know what's happening. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, all right, first things first, like, let me figure out what I'm going to eat for breakfast. and then take on the rest of the day. That's kind of how it is. But I think I've been like adapting truthfully pretty solidly because, and I think the main reason is I've been really focused on like centering and meditating and just being in connection with like spirit and God, same thing to me personally. And so tapping into that, I feel like my whole life I've tapped into that, but I think now I've had experiences where I go through a sudden wave of like sadness, I guess society would label it as depression or something, but or anxiety. But I think it's just like as a collective, as human beings, we all feel, in some way, shape, and form, we all feel in similar ways. One person going through something doesn't mean that you're not going through it, because if we're all connected, then we're all going through it in some sense. So I think for me, it's been adapting to like what this world really is, like what's really going on, so becoming aware and awake, and also just tapping into like, who's Michelle, right? And what makes me happy, and how can I stay in this state of kind of like attunement with the universe or God or whatever's happening, so I think that's been the biggest like question and answer for me in regards to like handling all of it, because it's like I don't know what's going on, everything's like so crazy. And then I think of like the serenity prayer, where it's like, give me strength to change the things I can, let go of the things I can't, and have knowledge to know the both. Like that's super, super relevant. I have it on my window seal to remind me of it every day. So
Yeah, I think this year has definitely just been crazy.
mm-hmm.
Definitely one of my most memorable years, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I agree. And I'm looking at my like, I get to do it today. My like my mail-in ballot too, and I'm just like, there's like prep 22, 23, like all these things, and I'm like, wow, there's even that, and I think this is the year I've been more in tune with that. And I was living in Florida, and now I've only lived here for such a short period of time, so it's like I feel like I have this new sense of like adult responsibility on my shoulders as well. So I'm like, wow, my mom like gifted me my car, and like just I feel like I'm like out of mom's wing now, and I'm like living in LA as of like 2020, and I'm just like, what is like, and then all of this happens, and I'm just like, what is going on? This is insane. But like grateful for every moment.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And I know like all this like Black Lives Matter has become very, very big this year. Police brutality, riots, protesting all over
Mm-hmm.
the world. How have that affected you? Because I think more people have been awakened this year
Mm-hmm.
more than
Mm-hmm.
anything. So
Yeah.
how has that affected you?
Um, wow, I actually have just a quick story. So when lockdown happened here in LA, I left and stayed with family and like a partner of mine who's just one of the greatest creations that have come into my life. And so I had the opportunity to stay with their family in Maine for a couple months. And then so I was in Maine when all of the uprisings started happening. Then toward I think we stayed out there for, wow, I don't even know, 3-4 months. I have no clue. It was like a couple months. And I went to Florida for a week to stay with my family, where my parents retired from the military. It's where they live now. And I went to 2 protests out there. And throughout my life, right, like I've experienced certain, just being bullied. I was bullied in 8th grade because I was tall. I was called giraffe girl by this like kid behind me, in my history class, and different reasonings. And sometimes now that I've kind of been doing this uncovery of like past traumas and such, I've realized that I have experienced certain racisms within my younger experience of life. But I do definitely know that I've experienced it in my older life. And so I go to a protest, and it's my parents live in the most suburban, like North Florida, just it's very like conservative area. And um and this we're at this peaceful protest, and it was such a powerful experience because I'd never experienced it like this. And I think this is the moment where I was like, wow, like silence is violence. Like even me as a brown woman, like I, there's no way that I can be okay with anything that's happening, because even me at this protest peacefully, there was a line of um, men and women who had like Confederate flags tattooed on them. They were just slurring at us. You know, we'd yell George's name or Breonna's name, and they would yell back, "Who cares?" Right, Breonna Taylor, who cares? Like it was just the just such a heart wrenching experience. And I'm looking out, and I have this sign that says "Remember Love," John Lennon, 1980. And that's just a small sign. It has George's name, Breonna's name on the back, and I'm like standing there in front of these men and women who are just being very vulgar toward us. One of them actually got arrested by the end of it because he brought a machete. Like insane. I was like, oh, this is peaceful, right? In front of the courthouse and in Brooksville, Florida, like total country spot. And this man, like we're yelling whatever, and I'm crying, and he like looks at me, he's like, "You're not human, you're not human."
Oh
Because
wow.
for the color of my skin, right? And in this moment, I'm like crying, and I'm looking this human being in the face, you know, and I'm like, how much more human do I need to be for you to support us, right? Just
Right.
humanity, not even just Black people, just I am you and you are me. We come from the same God. We come from the same soil and the ground, dude. Like, however we were created, you have two legs, two eyes, two arms. So do I. Like, we're connected in that way. So in that moment, that was when I realized, wow, like this is a serious thing. And actually, later that week or earlier that week, I went to a bar with my sister who lives in Florida too, a little more north, 30 minutes more north of my mom's house. And I'm sitting there with her. I am the only brown one. And that was typical growing up, right? Like I'm living in this very, very predominantly white area, right? So nothing I wasn't used to, but sitting at this bar, I'm hanging out with my sister, leaving back to LA. I haven't been in LA in like 4 months at this point. So I'm like spending time with her, and this like group of like white women and a white male are kind of just like kind of eyeballing me. I'm kind of like whatever. I'm like, you know, Beth, like kind of feeling weird. Like I don't know, am I just paranoid from what happened at the protest earlier? Like I don't know. And then this song comes on. You can request songs. It just this the most vulgar song I've ever heard, honestly, truly, toward Black people. It's like "It Ain't Country" is what it's called, and he's just talking about his daddy's slaves and just like picking cotton, like just
What?
all of this,
Oh my gosh.
just like I don't even know how to explain it, girl. Like in that moment, I was sitting there and I was almost shaking, and I'm smiling and I'm finishing my drink, and my sister's there, and we're both looking at each other. And my sister's, she's my half sister, so she has like very white skin, straight Black hair. We don't even look like sisters, you know. I don't look like my mom. I look like my younger sister more so. And so you could easily just say that she was white, you know, out with her Black friend. And so I felt very targeted in that moment. We finished our drinks. She knew exactly what was going on because she was just like, whole, and he was like saying like nigger with an ER, you know, and like fine words, right? Like we are responsible for how we react to them, you know, but certain words have different vibrations towards them. And so like that in the song too, and being the only brown human being there, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is the bar I've gone to. My parents live 30 minutes down the road. So I think in those two longer stories than I meant them to be, but in those two experiences, I think I realized how much of a responsibility I have as a Black woman, as a brown woman. Like I'm half Nigerian on my dad's side, half Dominican on my mom's side. I have a responsibility to both of these minorities to stand in my power and let it be known that like, yeah, this shit is really bad. Not really bad, we're getting better, but like for that to have been experienced, you know, and not having done anything truthfully wrong, just sitting at a bar with my sister,
Wow.
that's insane.
I really hate that happened to you. That sounds like a horrible experience, and it just shows you like how real people that's literally not doing anything and have to deal with that is really horrible. And this, like I said, it just opens your eyes to so much stuff. Because I think sometimes we be oblivious to a lot of things and maybe not pay attention. We like, oh, like we just used to it. Like we just go on by our day. But I think, like I said, I think this year was the year of awakening, and where Black people, brown people, we're actually speaking up. And this year, like it's always have happened from the back in the way, like when our parents were growing up. But this time we have social media, we have technology, we can record it. And now I think even more so, not even Black and brown people we knew, but I think white people now are realizing it, like they're awakening, they're realizing like, oh my gosh, this is really happening and I never paid attention before. So I don't think it's awakening for not even just us, it's for them as well. Like this, I think the George Floyd video, I think that awoke a lot of people. I think
Yeah.
it woke a lot of people up when you watch a 9-minute video of this. Like I think that wakes up a lot of people, and I think this year is just it's been shifting.
Yeah, yeah. Is that you can't? It's not something that can be ignored anymore.
You can't ignore it. You can't.
Yeah,
It's too blatant for you not to ignore it. And this year with the election, you have a pandemic, you have people dying of coronavirus. Like this year, honestly, like if your mental is not stable, you need to seek some type of therapy, some type of counseling, something. Because this year is just it's been a lot on everybody.
yeah,
I think it's different because it doesn't matter what like bracket you're in, tax bracket you're in. Everybody is experiencing the same thing. And
right.
yeah,
And I think too, to that point, like of awakening and such, and like seeing shirts with like 8 minutes and 46 seconds just on them and everything. I feel like I'm more in a position to call certain things out. So I was on set yesterday for 10 hours, and I'm like, the only brown person, you know? It's gone. I was like, I'm one of what, 5 girls, of a set of 45 men, to get even deeper into, things that everything on set, diversity just in general on set.
right,
I'm like, and I don't know if I would have noticed that, a couple months ago or a year ago when I was on set. Now it's predominantly I'm like, huh, or well, it was what's this is the conversation, right? Like this is the conversation. And an actor that I like, I forget her name, but she's wonderful, and she like posted on Instagram a few months ago and was just like, I'm not going to anything if I'm going to be the only Black person. Like I've told all my friends, that's it. Like I can't. And speaking to which, I went to a party last week, like a social distance. It was at the beach, so like
yeah,
open air, and again, I'm the only, there's one other brown girl who we converse, and basically I talk to her most of the time, but she left early. And so I'm just like the only brown person of like maybe 15 people, one of which was my friend. Okay. And then another friend, you know, there was like, two Asians, and like, I didn't keep track of everything, but just like predominantly, this is my second time hanging out with this group of people. Predominantly everyone was white. And so I also never felt this like weird thing, and I still don't, but I think now I'm just taking just further note of like,
mhm,
why don't you have Black friends?
right,
Why what's going on? And so I was actually talking to someone yesterday about this, because he grew up skiing his whole life in the Northeast, like, area where just predominantly white people, I guess. And that makes sense, right? You grew up this way, your friends growing up are all white. Okay. And he makes an active effort to bring these people onto, because he's a cinematographer, so he'll do his best to, like, if he does know someone, like a crew job, and he knows someone who's Black, he'll bring them on, or Hispanic, whatever, And so I think it's nice because there's more push for that too,
right,
right? Like we can't just have a white Hollywood for the rest of existence. We
right,
can't. Those stories don't speak to everybody. Like that's why Tyler Perry is so special, because he's
exactly,
speaking to us, and through that, like the Ruthless isn't just a brown and Black person show. No, I mean, shit, my acting coach just binged the first season, and she's not Black or brown, so it's like it speaks to all of us.
yeah. And that's why I think like Tyler Perry, that's why I feel like all of us have so much respect for him. When he speaks, it's just you gotta listen. You're
Yeah.
gonna listen like he, because what he's speaking is real. Like we need to hear him. Like his speeches he been giving, I'm tuned in. Like yes, yes, and I'm at the house like yes, yes, like like inspiring. Like, and I think what really got me where I just started, I've always looked up to him, but I
Mhm.
feel like just like you all work for him and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure, and then a lot of black and brown people when he bought that lot. And I think that was, and then he started naming a lot out of legends that's in our history that doesn't get the respect. I think that just opened the eyes for so many people, black and brown people, to inspire us. Like we can do this too. We
Mhm.
can do this. He didn't
Mhm.
get no funding. He did this all by himself, and we don't see that. And I think they just inspire other black and brown people that we can do the same thing as well.
Right. Yeah, and Mr. P's out here like believing in us, and like me as I mean new young actor in Los Angeles, come from Florida, like making projects with my friends, to be trusted and to have this level of communication and trust it is with this man to believe in my talent, it's that I've been cultivating over the years, and for him to be like, this is her time to have this role, and for this moment to be created for her and for all of us, and the casting is just done phenomenally as well, just in general. So just to have that trust, in us as like new. Many of my castmates have been acting for a while, and they're all phenomenal actors. But in regards to me personally, it's like wow. And I remember I had a moment. You know, Ruthless is a very intense show,
Mhm.
very intense show, and Zane is the youngest one of the cult members, aside from Tally and Ruth's kids. And she goes through just hell and back between season one and season two, which technically isn't announced yet, but season one, she goes through like a lot, and to be trusted the with him knowing that like yeah she can do this, right? Like this is like she's new to LA, she's she doesn't have all these credits like my other actors do, but to trust me with a character like Zane, who is so emotional, so intense, but also so loving and vulnerable. It's like that. Just as an actress myself, I'm like so grateful to Mr. P and so grateful to God to have that, to have this, to have Zane, to have her world, to be able to describe her world and take the words off the paper and give it, to everyone, just give. It's wonderful. I'm so grateful.
Well, I really hate that this year, you can't even attend the BET Awards, like walk the carpet.
I'm like, now.
So hopefully next year we're back to normal.
I
And
know.
we can meet you on the carpet. We can meet you in person, and ask you questions on the carpet. See you at the see you at the award. See you doing the whole BET weekend, because I know probably a lot of people they on shows now and stuff like that. And it's like, I've been waiting to go to this. I've been waiting to walk carpets. And this year I can't do nothing but do virtual Zooms. Like
I know. And every like this, like everything happens for a reason. So I'm like, yeah, like bummer. And like there's something like this is like 2020, and then this is like change and awesome shit. And it's just waiting to like do this, I'm like, that moment is gonna just be like an explosion of just like one of my favorite quotes right now is, after the plague came the Renaissance. Because it's true, all the art, all the culture exploded after the plague, annihilated so much of the human race, So I'm like, that's not coronavirus in the name of Jesus. But, just a good comparison. I'm like, you know what, that's it, right? Like, work on your craft, work on that. We got this.
yeah, I think we all was kind of bummed. I think a few celebrities was kind of bummed. Like, I'm gonna see myself on TV, but like it's not the same. I never been to the awards, but so I think everybody has experienced different stuff. Like it's a lot, but I tell everyone this: we're living in history right now. This will be in movies. This will be on TV shows. This will be in history books. Like your future kids are gonna learn about this year in school. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the year of history. We're living in history right now.
Yeah, and to get into societal history for a while, like for a minute, like the Lakers win the championship, and then the Dodgers win the world. I'm just like, what is this? Is just it's good. It's all. I'm just like, this is insane. This is just amazing.
Yeah, it's been up battle, down, up, down, up, down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like once this election over, I feel like the 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 wave gonna slow down. Like, I feel like the year is gonna calm down after this election, and I think hopefully praying next year will be back to normal. We'll be back in front of people, talking to people, interacting with people, not being scared. So yeah, this year has been it's been a lot.
Yeah, and like just new norms, right? Like I'm planning things like a Friendsgiving in Big Bear, and we're all just like, yeah, like before we all get up there, we all like got to get tested, and then like not really do things for 3 days, and then go. And I'm like, all that for 2 days in the mountains with your friends for Friendsgiving,
Yeah, this is the new normal at this
Yeah.
point. Because I was asking my friend, like, how long you think we're gonna have to wear masks? I think probably like 2 or 3 years.
See the mask thing. Like someone, I forget who I was talking to, but I resonated with this so much. They were like, and I agree that it's gonna get to the kind of like China, where it's like you wear your mask or you don't. It's kind of up to you. I feel like majority of people are gonna choose to wear their masks. However, in Florida, no one really. When I was home, I was like, do I need to wear a mask? Is it not a thing here?
Like you have to wear a mask to get in anything.
I know.
LA, you cannot go in anywhere if you don't have a mask.
No, I know. And I walked into the bathroom with a mask on the other day. I was with my friend, just like getting an appetizer, some food or something. I walked out with my mask attached to my arm, and it was just like the COVID patrol. And like, gotta wear your mask. And I was like, oh shit, it's right here. I was like, oh, he was like, it's too late now. I was like, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I truly am sorry, because I believe in it. I believe in the mask. I believe in doing the whole dance. Like I get it. That one was just a little mistake that I did.
Yeah, me and my friend, we was like, yeah, we used to make fun of people from China on them planes wearing them masks. They was ahead of the time.
Wow.
They was ahead of the time. We should have been on it. Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you speaking with me. I really, really appreciate it. And I wish the best for you. And I can't wait to the second season, even though, we not, yeah. So, right. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, likewise. I'm so grateful and honored. Conversing with you has just been phenomenal too, and just kind of like nice, so I'm grateful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.